Welcome back. All right, so I've talked about the state of scripted television. As you guys can tell from videos I post to this channel, I don't watch a lot of scripted movies and TV shows at this point. Although Agatha Harkness, the Agatha All Along show, fun show. Anyways, but scripted TV, especially network scripted TV, and this is CBS, ABC, NBC. It just feels like everything involves the police, fire department, or doctors and some combination of. So I'm thinking Dr. Fire Cops should be a show that would be a big hit. Now, you have to have some kind of quirky thing, right? So you could have a quirky director of the fire cops. It's a little bit, you never quite know from one episode to the next what you're going to get. Um, he could be joking around with the guys 1 minute and then the next minute just come on, we gotta get out there, do our job, we're Dr. Fire Cops, damn it. So and the name obviously is just spitballing. It could easily be fire doctor cops, doctor fire, doctor cops with fire. Why are cops playing with fire? Doctors. Like you could have fun with it, right? Doctors, comma forward slash www.firepolice what's happening .com. And then you've got to have, of course, the rookie member of you know I'm gonna do this. You got to have a rookie member of all three branches. So you've got to have like the first episode would be a brand new doctor, a brand new member of the fire department, and a brand new police officer all walking in together. And we could go through this journey with the three of them guiding us. And I don't know how you're going to make it all work. Like, why would there be a hospital with a fire department and a police station in it? I no idea. You could make up a city. You could make this futuristic. I guess if you want a sci-fi angle, although that does tend to break the budget. I think the most frustrating thing I have with network TV now is when I see these commercials for police shows, fire shows, and all this, and I'm like, I remember that they were in Legends of Tomorrow, and they were in The Flash, and they were. This is sad. This is just they were in, and I'm not saying The Flash was good because most of the time it wasn't, but it wasn't just like Dr. Fire Cops, although there were a lot of cops in it and there was a police station that was featured prominently. It is amazing how many shows are tethered to reality by the threat of people going to jail. Or the hospital. That's apparently that's the main thing with life. It features far more prominently on TV than I hope it does for most people watching this video. Hopefully, so we're gonna have a quirky director who's kind of like fly by the seat of his pants, and he was a rookie once too. So these rookies he'll be understanding one day and a little bit tough on them the next, which means you have to have like a staff sergeant, and I don't know if he'd be a sergeant. I mean, you could have like a doctor sergeant. Sure, why not? You could have, you know what? This is the thing. This is the thing. All right, I think I got this figured out. You really want to make this show so it can tug at the heartstrings a lot? The staff sergeant's retired military. They call him sergeant because he was in the military. Maybe. Okay, so staff sergeant. He could have been a doctor. He was a medic in the military. Got his PhD, and then he'd have like some post traumatic stress, right? So you could have like scenes where he's like reliving. I was serving overseas and a car backfired, and he goes through this whole big arc, right? This big emotional arc. Because one thing that these shows all have is melodrama, like over the top melodrama to a point where I don't watch. I can't do it. Okay, so we've got the quirky director, rookie member of all three branches. We're going to follow these rookies through the process of learning how the hospital, fire department, police department all works together. So the actual layout, let me just do this as like just a I know freehand I can't draw for crap. So how are we going to split this up and how are we going to make this work? So you could have The main streets down here. So you have like your main streets down here, right? I know I'm not Bob Ross. I'm aware. And then so you'd have it so that what are we gonna call this? What are we gonna call this? Emergency HQ. And I have to say, if Emergency wasn't a show from the 70s, Emergency HQ could work. Now, I don't know if Emergency would be cheap to get the rights to use the name. I don't know if that's all expired or whatnot. So we could have, say, fires at this end, and you'd have like a little fire station here. And the fire station doesn't have to take up that whole part of the building because this building has to be huge. I am talking ridiculously big. Like we are talking like West Edmonton Mall sized because you want this to be like a big bustling hospital. And then the police station, you know what? Let's put the police at the back so that you have the fire department coming out this way, the police coming out this way. Maybe they don't interact a lot with one another. Maybe they're at the opposite ends. And then obviously you'd have the hospital is the in between part. So, and then you'd have, okay, how do I do this? All right. Oh, actually, this works. So right across from the police here, so you'd have like windows into the police station and everything, but this is where your emergency room is. So you'd have the emergency room here right next to the police, just for when somebody gets arrested and comes in and they need to be in the ER because the police officer accidentally broke the guy's arm and punched him in the face and broke his orbital bone as well. So the police go through like this really rough. Okay, so let's come up with the episode here. So you have police are called. Police and fire are both called to a scene. So they're called to a scene, and there's a warehouse that's on fire, and the guy who set the fire is outside the warehouse. Say there's like somebody, like a couple people inside the warehouse, so the fire department goes into the warehouse to put the fire out, knock it all down, and the police are chasing this guy through the streets. Stop, police! Stop, police! So they bring him in. They catch him. They bring him in. We can follow all three of these people through their journey. The two people that are rescued are treated for smoke inhalation in the hospital, and they're out. Or one of them could be one of those rookies. One of them could actually, in that pilot episode, say, hey, I like this fire police hospital. I want to work here, and end up going through police school, right? Right? Cop school. You go through that, and you go through basic training, and next thing you know, you're working in fire police hospital. So they get called here. He goes. So now the rookie. So one victim decides to become a cop. I would write police officer, but cop's easier to write. It can be considered derogatory. In some cases, cops considered derogatory. But yeah, so one victim decides I'm going to join the police force. This is great. This fire police hospital is the greatest thing ever. So one person decides that they're going to become a cop, and so then are we going to follow? So we're gonna follow all three of these rookies. So um, first day as cop, pulls over, rookie doctor, as he's going to the fire police hospital. So he pulls the guy over, and they can have like a little fun moment, like yeah, you were doing like 85 in the 30 zone. You almost hit some kids back there. That's a school zone. They can share and laugh over it, right? Because nobody got hurt, so it's funny. And it's not. Don't do that. It's not cool. There are people that drive very fast through school zones. Not funny. But so they have this moment where it's like, oh, I'm nervous. It's my first day of work, and I'm late. And so they find out through this discussion with each other that he's due for his first day. He's going to go work at the fire police hospital. He's a doctor, right? So they talk, they discuss some things, and the police officer decides, all right, I'm going to write you a ticket because I have to, but I'll escort you to the hospital. I'll escort you there, and I'll even turn on the lights and all that. You just follow right behind. So you have this nice moment where the two rookies are going in together. All right. So I've got the doctor and I've got the police officer to get where. How am I going to get the fire? So the next scene, we could do a flashback for and there isn't a shortened form I can think of for firefighter off the top of my head. So you have a flashback. So for the guy who's going to be a firefighter, you could have a flashback to when he was a kid, and a fire that started in his home. Maybe he lost a beloved pet. Maybe he lost a friend. Something tragic, right? Tragic backstory. And this idea that this kid in that moment gets this glimmer in his eye, like, I'm going to prevent this from happening to other people. I'm gonna take this mantle, and I'm gonna vanquish fire forever. His goal is to make sure there is no such thing, which is easy enough if you take oxygen out of the atmosphere, but we die. So I don't recommend that path to go. But either way, so you have the flashback, and then you could go into his first day. So you've got the police, the doctor's first day, and then you could have him like having kind of a bit of a panic attack because he's in the parking lot. And he's kind of like, I don't know if I can make it. So now that rookie doctor's walking by and sees this guy in his car, kind of a little bit panicked, and has a moment with him, takes him into the hospital, an emergency HQ, and looks him over and talks to him and talks him up, and then brings him over to the firehouse where there's a little bit of hazing because, he's new and all. But now you'd have the rookie fire department worker and fireman and the rookie doctor now know each other. And then later on, the rookie police officer and the rookie doctor, their shifts are over and they're leaving. On their way out, the rookie fireman, he's having some trouble with some stuff. And so as they're coming out through a door in this area, they notice him. And the police officer kind of wants to make a joke about him. And hey, the doctor's like, no, he's new, just like us. So they help him out with whatever the task is that he's having trouble with. And then they all go out for a beer together. While they're out having a beer, a fire breaks out wherever they are. And this could be an ongoing storyline of the show, that just random fires, random crimes. When all three of them are together, something's going to happen. Somebody's going to need the Heimlich while they're at the hospital, or while they're at a restaurant, or while they're at the hospital, sure. But all of these things are going to, when they're out together, and it's going to be kind of like Super Friends, but not. And so when they're all together, you could have like people going, okay, is it going to be a police or fire? Something going to happen to somebody, and the doctor's going to be called into action? You would never quite know. Are we going to be leaning into the hospital part, the doctor part? Is that going to be the key? The police, is that going to be the key? Or fire? And of course, with all of this in the same place, you can have all the normal stuff. You can have kidnappings and ransoms, and you can have fires, and you can have medical emergencies, and you can do it all at the same time with Dr. Fire Cops. Although Emergency HQ is kind of speaking to me as a good show name, so there's that. I think what this does, it nicely pulls everything into one thing. You can cancel all of the other doctor, fire, police shows, put them all into this. All of them. Yes, even that one. All of them get combined into this. And so you'd have like, what's that? Gray's 911. I mean, you could just call it 911. You could just take just because 911 could be all three of those, right? You can call for an ambulance, you can call for fire, you can call for police. So just that's it. And again, emergency's already taken, sadly, but Emergency HQ works. And I think this could work as a show. I think personally that if I could sit and talk to network executives and go, look, you guys love cops, right? You love fire departments. You really like doctors. So here you go. And since TV networks now don't have budgets anymore, because when you watch these commercials, there's usually an explosion they show, but I know from having watched the Arrowverse shows that they would only have money for like one special effects scene per show, usually. And if they tried for more than one, that's when the CGI looked ridiculous. where you'd be like, oh, that'll look nice when it's finished. Oh, this is being broadcast right now. But I think that this show could be done on the cheap. I think that it could be kind of a fun thing to have. And again, you're combining all of these things that network TV loves so much: the police, the fire department, and doctors. And you have yourself a brand new show, which I think it could work. And so now you guys all want to see how the rookies do, and are they gonna be friends? Are they gonna have conflict? Yep. Will there be love interests where you find out that, like, the girlfriend of the rookie police officer dated the rookie firefighter? Yeah, we might have that. We might have that tension. And what would make it even better would be if it was set in like New York City or LA, where the odds of that happening are like ridiculous and astronomical. But of course, it's a small world, right? And so obviously, those weird coincidences would just keep happening. In fact, it would be good if it was an ongoing plot line where, say, like every woman that had dated the police officer had also dated the fire department, the firefighter, or just the fire department, right? So at any rate, I'm going way off on that one. I don't want to go any further down that line of thinking, but just that kind of thing where you can still have that drama, that tension, and of course you'd have to have one like savant, one savant in the hospital. So one like, and I don't know if psychic's the word, but I'm gonna put psychic in there. Um, you know what? I'm gonna another way I'd put it too. Think radar from MASH kind of thing. So radar from MASH, he was able to know when helicopters were coming before anybody else heard him. And he was a quirky character. Have somebody like that. Somebody you just knows something bad's get like, we're gonna have an earthquake. What do you mean we're gonna have an earthquake? We haven't had an earthquake in 10 years, and then the earth starts shaking. Stuff like that. Yes, you could also use a dog for that kind of a role too. You could have maybe the radar type character has a cute little dog that he has with him in the hospital. It could be an emotional support animal that also doubles as the fire dog. So there's endless things you could do with this show, and you just got to add more quirky characters that are weird. Maybe you have a blind surgeon, maybe you have a deaf police officer, maybe you have both of them are best friends with each other, right? Maybe you have somebody working in the fire department who was in a really serious fire at one point in time, and really bonds with the rookie over what he went through as a kid, and they have drinks together, and then of course a fire breaks out. But that happens when they're out in public. It's just that's how that works. um I think this could work as a show. I really do. Let me know your thoughts though. Again, like I said, this is one of those videos that people could probably just say what, and I do expect that to be the reaction. But don't people want to see this? The Dr. Fire Cop show? I picture like a doctor with like a police badge and the gun on his hip, and then like the firefighter helmet right up like the right here, and maybe an axe over his shoulder, right? For firefighter. And maybe, yeah, he'd have an axe over here, he'd have the gun on his hip, he'd have the badge here, he'd have he'd be wearing like a doctor's smock, and he'd have pills. Like he'd have like just aspirin. He'd have like aspirin in his hand, like he's gonna administer painkillers, something like. There's various things he could have that could be medically related, because he's got the stethoscope around his neck, of course. So there's that. But let me know your thoughts. Yeah, I think this is a winner. I think this is a winner. Dr. Fire Cops, coming soon to no network near you. But this is how ridiculous I think TV is now. Just and again, it's network TV. It just feels like every single show that's not a reality show is about one of these three things. Why not put them together? Let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. I just thought this was a fun idea. I had this during a live stream, and I've been thinking about this for a while. So you're welcome. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I'll talk to you again soon.